Hello, this is Xbox Boy 79, and um, I am reviewing Genpai by Karadelki. And I have spent 2.5 weeks reading this piece of garbage, and I have to say that this was one of the most boring books I've ever read. I think probably 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is more boring than this garbage. I honestly didn't think part 1 and part 2 were that bad. I found them interesting, and the characters and political intrigue were interesting. But then part 3 comes and basically put me to sleep. You know what? I think after this I'll go back to reading my Dragon Riders of Pern book. The only reason I even finished this book is because I was interested in part 1 and part 2, but part 3 bored me so much, but I was like, you know what? I just gotta get this over with. And I could spend 20 days talking about the reasons why this book sucks, but I'm just going to go over five. Five most important reasons why this book sucks. My first and biggest reason is that this book is called Genpei, a fantasy. There was nothing fantasy about this novel other than the fact that there was a guy named the Dragon King, and there's another guy who's a ghost who's giving like advice to both sides in the war. This book is about Japan, obviously, because it has a picture of some guys on Japanese horses and swords and stuff. And I mean, it would have been an interesting book, but it wasn't done right because, like, I was expecting them to have battle scenes where you have dragons fighting and like winged horses and stuff like that. So that was a big fail because there was like nothing fantasy about this book at all, other than the fact that it was a dragon in it and there was a ghost dude. And my second problem with this book is that it's too long. 445 pages. I mean, look at this font. It's so small. Books are not meant to be that long, at least not fantasy novels. I mean, I guess if you're writing a book called Harry Potter, it can be that long, but it's not supposed to be that long for a fantasy novel. I mean, okay, fine, maybe that doesn't make any sense. Aragon is like 600 pages enough, but this book was not good because it was too long. My third problem with this book is that every single important character, they spent like maybe 30 pages on and then forgot them for half the book while I talked about more characters. And then at the end, they finally get back to everybody and basically have too much time catching up on old times and stuff. I honestly didn't like most of the characters in this book. They're either old guys who killed children or ladies who killed children, fat old dudes who killed children, and everybody was like dying because of honor. And this is a book about Japan, so I should have expected that. But since the book was boring anyway, I didn't really care. Three characters I liked were some dude named Ishikawa, who was like, um, he was like some kind of Jedi, kinda. His father was this guy named Yoshitomo who got killed off in part 2. Therefore, we don't talk about him again ever again. That's convenient. So he becomes like a swordsman, and he's important for like one half of part 2. Then they forget about him till the end of the book. I like the Empress, and I like the little boy who became the Emperor at the very ending of the book, because they said he was fat. My fourth problem with this book was that they spent too much time praying about Buddhist prayers, and when the book is supposed to be about action, talking about Buddhist prayer doesn't make me want to read this very much. I mean, it was an interesting set piece, but it wasn't very important and didn't help us learn anything. And my last biggest problem with this book is that um, the beginning is basically copied off Macbeth. He's in, he's rowing his boat in the lake. Then out of nowhere, there's a big boat, and these three witches tell him, "You're gonna do this, become this, and then have this," which is what happened to Macbeth. And then, although he has no wife that is evil and tells him what to do, instead of the opposite, his wife is actually good and tells him what not to do, which is a good thing. Instead, he doesn't listen and has a mad lust for power. So that's why I thought Genpai sucked. Because it was too long, not any good characters, not really fantasy enough, no dragons, too much praying, and, what was the last reason? Oh, I forgot. Okay, well, if I had to give this book a star rating, it would be like 2 out of 5, probably. And this moment, I'm reading Dragonflight, Dragon Riders of Pern as well. And I'm reading this book, Terminator, Trial by Fire. Already it's stupid, but I'll continue to read it for you guys. Alright, peace out, home dogs.
And give thanks to the amazing recorder.